Defining a physical perimeter is only the first step. What matters next is ensuring that only authorized individuals can pass through it. Control A.7.2 of ISO 27001, 2022 addresses physical entry controls, the mechanisms, procedures, and policies that govern who can enter secure areas and how that access is managed and recorded. Tailgating, inadequate visitor management, and missing access logs are among the most common physical security failures found during audits. In this video, we examine the full range of physical entry controls and how to implement them effectively. Let us start with the range of physical entry control mechanisms available and how organizations select the right controls for each secure area. Control A.7.2 requires organizations to implement appropriate entry controls to ensure that only authorized persons are allowed access to areas where information and assets are held. The choice of entry control mechanism must reflect the sensitivity of the area being protected. Keycards provide individual accountability and are suitable for most secure office areas. PIN pads alone are weaker because pins can be shared. Biometric controls, fingerprint, retinal scan, or facial recognition provide the strongest individual authentication. Security guards add a human judgment layer that technology cannot fully replace. We select the appropriate mechanism or combination of mechanisms based on the risk assessment for each area. Visitor management is one of the most frequently cited weaknesses in physical entry control audits. Every visitor must be required to sign in, presenting identity documentation where appropriate. The organization must verify that the visit is expected and authorized before allowing entry. Visitors should be issued with visible temporary badges distinguishable from staff passes. They must be escorted at all times in secure areas and signed out on departure. Visitor logs must be retained as evidence of physical access management. Tailgating, where an unauthorized person follows an authorized person through a secure door, is one of the simplest and most effective physical attack techniques. Prevention requires both technical and behavioral controls. Technical controls include man-trap entries that physically prevent simultaneous passage, door sensors that alert on multiple-person entry, and turnstiles. Behavioral controls include security awareness training that empowers staff to challenge individuals attempting to follow them through secure doors without presenting credentials. Access logs are the audit trail for physical entry control. Every swipe of a keycard, every biometric authentication, and every entry recorded by a security guard should be logged electronically or in writing. These logs serve multiple purposes. They provide evidence for investigation if an incident occurs. They enable regular review to identify anomalous access patterns, and they demonstrate to ISO 27001 auditors that physical access is genuinely tracked and managed rather than assumed. For concepts central to understanding and implementing control, A.7.2 across the organization. Tailgating is a social engineering technique that exploits politeness and workplace culture. People hold doors open for colleagues out of courtesy, making it socially uncomfortable to challenge someone following them into a secure area. Organizations must create a culture where challenging tailgaters is normalized and encouraged, not seen as rude or paranoid. Technical controls like man-traps remove the social pressure entirely by making it physically impossible for two people to pass simultaneously. Both approaches are needed for robust prevention. Access zones formalize the principle that different areas warrant different levels of protection. A typical organization might have a public zone, a general staff zone, a restricted zone for sensitive operations, and a high-security zone for the server room or data center. An employee's access rights are defined by their role and which zones they legitimately need to enter. Zone-based access control ensures that a compromise of credentials for one zone does not automatically expose higher sensitivity areas. Visitor escort is a fundamental control because it ensures that no visitor is ever unsupervised in an area where they could access information assets, overhear sensitive conversations, or cause damage. The escort responsibility should be formally assigned. Visitors should never be left alone, even briefly. Escort obligations should be documented in the organization's visitor management procedure, and staff should understand that they are personally responsible for the visitors they bring into secure areas. Access log audits transform physical access records from passive archives into active security intelligence. Regular review, at least monthly for high-security areas, can reveal patterns that indicate security issues, accounts that should have been deactivated still being used, access outside normal working hours, repeated failed access attempts, or individuals accessing areas not related to their job function. These patterns may indicate insider threats, credential sharing, or system misconfiguration. Let us now explore how organizations manage different access levels across security zones and maintain the audit trail that ISO 27001 requires. Effective physical entry control requires matching access rights to roles, maintaining the access audit trail, and reviewing both regularly to ensure they reflect current requirements. Access to each security zone should be granted on the basis of documented need, approved by an appropriate authority, and linked to the individual's job role. This mirrors the principle of least privilege in logical access control. We do not grant broad physical access by default and narrow it down. We start with no access and grant only what is specifically required. Access rights should be documented in an access register, making it clear who can access each zone and why. One of the most common findings in ISO 27001 physical security audits is active access credentials belonging to individuals who have left the organization or changed roles. Leavers' physical access, keycards, biometric registrations, and PIN codes must be revoked on their last working day or earlier if they are leaving involuntarily. Role change processes must trigger a review and adjustment of physical access rights. Prompt revocation prevents former employees or those in new roles from accessing areas they no longer have a legitimate need to enter. Even correctly granted access rights become inappropriate over time as business functions change, teams restructure, and project access requirements expire. Periodic access reviews, at least annually and more frequently for high-security zones, verify that every individual's physical access rights remain justified and appropriate. Reviews should be conducted by the access rights owner, not the IT or facilities team, as the business owner is best placed to assess whether access is still needed. Physical access logs should not exist in isolation. Integrating them with the organization's broader security monitoring program enables correlation between physical and logical events. If someone's network credentials are used from a remote location at the same time as their physical access card is recorded on-site, that discrepancy is a potential indicator of credential compromise. Integrated monitoring delivers security intelligence that neither physical nor logical access monitoring alone can provide. Let us consolidate the essential points from our exploration of control, A.7.2, physical entry controls. To master all 93 ISO 27001, 2022 Annex A controls with practical implementation guidance, real-world examples, and ready-to-use templates, enroll in our complete Udemy course today. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more ISO 27001 control explainers. See you in the next video.